All right, welcome back to the Closing Room AZ. I'm your host, Jesse Moreno. I'm a realtor and investor here in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you're thinking about buying a home or selling a property, make sure you reach out to me. Let me know. I'd love to help you out here at the Closing Room AZ. We're all about straight talk, zero fluff, real world advice that you can utilize when you're buying a property or selling a property here in Arizona or anywhere actually. So make sure that you are listening to this podcast because we are going to give you a lot of information as well. A quick shout out to our sponsor today, Driggs Title Agency here in Phoenix, Arizona. They have multiple locations here in Arizona as well as Nevada. Make sure that you guys reach out to them as well. One interesting fact about them that I've learned not too long ago is they've closed over 200,000 transactions since they started their business back in 2007. So 200,000 closings is pretty amazing to me. If you're looking for a reliable escrow company, make sure you reach out to them. They're here to help out realtors, home buyers. Give them a call. Reach them at 602-589-5300 or look them up at driggstitle.com and just reach out to them. Hey, quick reminder also, I just want to make sure everyone knows, make sure at the end of the podcast that you leave a comment, provide me a feedback. I'd love to hear what you got to say. Let me know what you like about the podcast that you heard. Subscribe to my channel. It's important that you subscribe as well, so make sure you do that. Look me up on YouTube. It's called The Closing Room AZ, all one word. So look me up. And if anything, there should be a link as well on my videos. It's going to say The Closing Room AZ. Click on that. And it's going to take you straight to the YouTube channel. And just jump right in, and away we go. All right. So let's jump right into it. Today we have a special guest. We have Micah.
Yep.
Phillips. I got that
Micah
right?
Phillips, yep.
Yeah. So he's the founder, owner of Happy Hippo Junk Removal here based in Phoenix. And Micah has built a local business to help homeowners as well as businesses and property owners, right, to remove the clutter from their locations. So he's going to go ahead and share a little bit about how he started his business, what he does, and he kind of gives an insight of what the junk removal business is all about. So looking forward to doing that. But before we jump into some questions, I'm going to fire away on Micah here, and I'm not going to try to get him too stressed out. You feeling okay, Micah?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You're all right?
Yeah,
okay.
right.
Before we fire away on some questions, I do want to share, though, a little bit about how we got to meet, okay? So Micah here helped me out back in December of last year, 2025. So in December 2025, I had a property here in Phoenix that had, I was actually ready to close escrow. We actually were ready to close. We needed to record that particular day on my deal. And unfortunately, my client had tremendous amount of debris in front of their property. They brought it all out. It made a crazy mess. And we could not go and record this property because the buyers, obviously, they don't want to come to this home. They had all this clutter, debris in front of the property. So I reached out to Mike and I said, hey, listen, man, I've got a problem. Can you help me out? That was the first time. I found him on Google. That's how I found you. And I gave him a call, and he said, Jesse, let me see what I can do for you. I'll try to work out some numbers or move some schedules around as well and see if I can come out to you. And he did, man. You came out, took care of my problem right off the bat that same day.
Yep, same day.
Right? And I got to tell you, man, you did a fantastic job. It was an amazing experience for me knowing that there's a service company out there that could just jump on it right away. It wasn't just you also removing the debris, man, but at the end of the evening, when I came back to look and see how things were going, it was cleaned up to a point where I kind of felt like, man, he also kind of landscaped the property a little bit for me and fixed it up. So highly recommend it. Look him up online, Happy Hippo.
HappyHippoJunk.com.
Yeah, look him up and look at his Google reviews too, man. He's amazing, all 5s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, perfect 5-star reviews. We have
right?
Just over 200 now after 1 year.
That's awesome,
really
man.
Hard to get the reviews.
That's awesome. Yeah, so look him up, and you'll get the same experience I got. I highly recommend him. You're going to be blown away if you guys use him. So, all right, Micah, welcome to the Closing Room AZ.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for being here. I know we've been talking about it for the last couple months.
Yeah, I think in December you mentioned it to me, and it took a few months to get everything going, but we're here.
Yeah, we're here. So awesome. Well, hey, man, I've got some questions I think my listeners want to know about, Happy Hippo Junk Removal and a little bit about yourself as well. So why don't we start with tell me about yourself a little bit, maybe?
So my name is Micah Phillips. I own Happy Hippo Junk Removal with my wife, Hannah. We are both native to Phoenix. We grew up here, and we started the business in 2024.
Okay.
Took a few months to get it going, and then we took our first job at the end of 2024. So 2025 was our first full year. So we're just starting our second full year of junk removal.
All right. Cool, man. Well, good. And for whatever reason, I thought it was a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking that, man. But you started in 2024.
Yep.
And 2025 was really your first full year getting right into it, getting into the meat of building your business.
Yep.
How exciting. Good for you, dude.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Very cool. Very cool. I think listeners want to know is what got you into this business?
So I have a buddy named Cade who's a Phoenix fireman, and I used to see him a few times a week, and I went a couple years without seeing him, and I finally saw him again, and I said, hey, but where you been? And he let me know that he's been working on a business when he's not at the firehouse, which is junk removal. I had no idea what junk removal was. I've always had a pickup truck my whole life, so never really needed the service, and he kind of explained to me that, plenty of people need a service where that you remove things from their property because they have no way of doing it themselves. So you're filling a need, for their service. And, so he kind of told me about it and kind of went down the rabbit hole to start researching it. I piqued my interest. I always like side projects. And the more I looked into it, the more I wanted to do it, talked to my wife about it. And then we just decided to, go for it.
Jump right in.
Yep.
All right. Good, man. Well, I'm glad you did because you know what? You're good at what you do. And again, not to make it sound crazy here or how you want to look at it, but you did a great job, man. And I was super impressed. And hopefully, I've got some people that I told them to give you a call for some of their projects, and hopefully they did. I don't know if they threw out my name or not, but nonetheless, I was impressed. And so, I'm going to continue using you on some other projects when the time comes up. I'm definitely encouraging my listeners to make sure they do the same, man. Right?
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving us the call for that job. It was an interesting job. Last hour, I think we worked from like 5 to midnight after hours to get taken care of so that the buyer could show up the next day and see it taken care of for them, so they'd close for you. So,
all right, let's talk a little bit about what your year looked like in 2025. So you started in 2024. Give me the month again, kind of.
So we formed the company in March 2024.
Okay.
Spent the next 6 months doing all the website creation myself. Learned how to create websites. Did that, marketing, buying trucks, wrapping them, branding them, everything like that. So, I think we took our first job in November 2024, and that's kind of slow season for junk removal. So November through January, February is the slow season. So after that, it was relatively slowed. Just did jobs for family members, some random people calling us off Google, and starting February and March 2025, the ball start rolling, and we really worked hard to have repeat customers with the service we provide. So we've getting busier and busier every month. So we like the way it's been going.
Cool. Hey, what makes your company different to other junk removal companies that are out there?
There are a lot of junk removal companies. So, we provide the same services they most do as far as, junk removal, light demo, hot tubs, sheds, that type of stuff. I'd say what separates us is we provide a professional experience that's like the big franchises do at a much lower cost. So the franchises provide that professional experience, but they're really expensive. So we come in, provide the same experience, if not better, better customer service, better experience for the customer.
Yep.
And we do it at a lower price. So we kind of provide that top level experience at a lower price.
Cool. And I can vouch for that, man, because your experience was pretty good. I've dealt with other companies that have come out and done some debris removal on my properties, and it's taken them several days, a couple times, to get everything out. But with your experience working with you on this one particular time was pretty good. It was a good experience. And, one thing I didn't mention when I was kind of sharing at the beginning of when you came out, I had called you sometime late morning, and then I think you showed up probably around late. It
was like 4:30. It was about 4 o'clock because the title company had to know if we're doing it by 4:30 when they closed.
Right.
To okay
so I was gonna say, so around 4 o'clock you got there, and I don't have pictures to put up on here. Maybe I will if I can. But man, we had debris starting from the garage all the way to the street.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it was like a couple feet high.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff, multiple truckloads. So.
Yeah, and you came down and you knocked that bad boy out, and then what I noticed that you did too that I thought was pretty interesting is you separated things. You're like, this is all the metal things are going here, all the stuff that had paints and oils and whatever was in this pile here, and all the wood was here. It seems like you were separate, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, man, but I thought I caught you kind of separating things and throwing them in your truck because you brought this. I don't know what it was. 18-footer
Yeah,
deal?
we have a 16-foot box truck.
Okay.
So yeah, we always separate when we're loading. We separate the paints and that stuff because we can't take hazardous items like that, liquids. So the homeowner dealt with that themselves. But as far as like the metals and stuff and donatable stuff, we always try to separate that in the truck so that when we get to the next stop, we don't have to throw everything out the landfill.
Right.
So if it's reusable, recyclable, we always try to get that in a different part of the truck so it doesn't get mixed up with the actual trash.
Yeah, cool, man. I love that you're cautious about ethical disposal, right? And for my listeners to know what that means is you're separating things out so we don't mess up the environment. Everybody goes to the junkyard and they mix things in there and they throw it away, right? And they'll mix in batteries and things that can mess up the environment. And it's dangerous, man. It's not dangerous for the employees at the landfill, but for the environment in general, things that could seep into the soil, into our water system and all that good stuff. It's just dangerous, man. And I remember that one night, one of my that client at that house had something that you couldn't take, and you told me, "Hey, Jesse, I can't take this." I think it's probably oil, man. I think it was this bucket of engine oil. I don't know, something like that, right? And you're like, "Yeah, I can't take that. We got to do something else with this." But I love that you're, again, that you're ethical about that disposal, because that helps the environment, and that speaks volumes to me. In addition to that, I know. And we talked a little bit about before we start this podcast that you were mentioning, hey, I also, things that we could help donate to, such as the Goodwill, so Salvation Army or some type of cause, man, you're willing to do that without throwing everything at the landfill, right? So if it's salvageable to some extent and we could help out a family member or somebody to help out, I'm assuming we do that, right?
Yep, absolutely. So I'd say about 80% of the stuff we take, we donate or recycle. There are items that just are not donatable, like mattresses, beat up couches that cats have clawed, stuff like that, and actual trash.
Yeah.
But metals we give to a person so they can recycle. Cardboard gets recycled separately. And then all furniture, if it's reusable, we find a home for it. Mattresses generally aren't donatable, but if they're in good condition, what we do is we take them back to our work area, take pictures and post them for families in needs, maybe find somebody who can use them before they go to the dump. So especially the twin beds, because that twin beds are for kids. So we try to find families where they're just in a bad spot where they need mattresses for their kids.
Yeah.
So that's
good deal, man.
with that.
Good to hear. That's awesome. I love that, dude. I really do. It's helping out another cause. It's not just about coming out here, taking out the debris, whatever you find, whatever you're removing from the properties. But it's also just another cause to assist people out, to help them out with, or provide out there, and that speaks volumes about your company. So appreciate that you're doing that. I'm going to hit you with something here that I wrote down. I wanted to find out. We talked about the oil at my property that we had, and you separated, right? But tell me something that was kind of unusual that came to your mind that you were like, man, we have to remove this. Something that was unusual or memorable or something like that, right?
So most memorable jobs are the hard jobs. It's the the hot tub in the tiny spot where you have to cut it up, or the 1,000-pound piano. But for me, the memorable jobs are usually at like senior living facilities, assisted living facilities like that, because you're usually dealing with like a family member who's calling you because they lost a loved one. So I'm the contact point from start to finish. So throughout the process, I talk to the person. By the end of the job, I know who the person was that passed. I know their story. I know everything about them because the people want to tell me about it, and I'm happy to listen because it's interesting to hear somebody's life story. So those are the jobs that I remember the most, is when I'm meeting with somebody usually who has to fly in from another state to deal with the death of a loved one. So those are my memorable jobs. They're tough because of the emotions and the stress, and it's sensitive. But I really like those jobs because you're really helping somebody out who is in a tough spot and trying to do it the best you can.
All right, man. I know last year was really your first full year knocking it out and doing what you're doing. Have you had an opportunity sometime last year where you just had tremendous amount of work in one day? They were like, everyone's calling you up. If you did, man, was there a certain way that you handled that particular spike in that business?
Yeah. So for commercial jobs, they usually want to book out further because they have to go through the process of getting okayed up the chain. So commercial jobs are usually the bigger ones, and we can schedule those out a week or two. Most people, when they want junk removal, they want same day, next day service. Most people don't call for a week later. Yeah. So every once in a while we'll get too many appointments for one day, and then we just ask whoever calls last if we could push them back to the next morning, and they're usually fine with that. So every once in a while somebody will say, I need this done ASAP, or we got to be out of the property tonight. So then I'll work after hours and take care of it for them after the other jobs are completed. But for the most part, we've never had really any situations where we tell somebody we can't do it for them on their schedule.
So what kind of business, I know you do business, you also do business debris removal. So tell me some of the business that you specialize in, or I don't know if maybe you specialize or not, but like there's particular ones that you've done that you're like, I could do everything, but these are the ones that I've been working with.
Yeah, so for commercial jobs, we do a lot of pallet removal for like the car dealerships. They recycle things with pallets, so we do those. We have a few furniture companies locally that recommend us out when people come in there to buy sofas. That's I consider it kind of commercial. So when somebody buys a sofa, they don't know how to get rid of their old sofa, and they give them our information. We come and remove the sofa so they can buy the new one. And then we do a lot there's a national chain that for retail that has us come and remove all their old stands and keeps us pretty busy with them around the valley. So yeah, we like working commercial and we like residential as well.
Okay, cool. Are you doing more residential or more commercial?
I'd say we're probably 90% residential.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We got to get you some more commercial. Then we got to get you some commercial.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of business owners on my podcast, man, because when you're self-employed, and this is a real estate podcast type of deal.
Yeah.
So a lot of my listeners are realtors and lenders and stuff like that, and I know they got projects and things going on. So you got to reach out to Micah here if you guys got a business, and if you need some junk removal, man, you got to give him a call. He'll help you out with that.
Definitely. So
love to do that for you. Any way we could support your cause here. I was telling you earlier, I try to keep my podcast about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And we are coming up on it, believe it or not. What do you think? Did it seem like 20 minutes to you?
It feels like 5. I'm flying.
Doesn't it? There's a lot of information here that we haven't even hit on, but I think we'll spend a few more minutes because we're almost there. And I try to keep this engaging as much as possible for my listeners. So, but I want to talk a little bit about, maybe some challenges and some growth in your business, man. So what do you think some of the challenges you're having right now, if there's any in your business?
Yeah, so the challenge right now with the growth is, you start up small, so you don't really have the work, so you're doing it yourself. And as you expand, you need help. So hiring employees, dealing with payroll, workman's comp, all that stuff.
Okay.
Getting to the point to where you have enough work to hire somebody full time, and then train them to where eventually they'll take over the truck. So that's kind of the process.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the biggest challenge for me right now is just
All right.
hiring process.
So are you hiring now?
I'm looking, yes.
You're looking. All right. So we got to
yeah.
call you. Someone's got to call you up and say, hey, I need a job. Help me out. Will you train them?
Yep, train them. Look for part-time, just somebody who, enjoys working. And
all right. Well, we need someone to call you up. So hopefully these listeners are going to go ahead and reach out to you, and maybe there's an opportunity for somebody to jump on board, man, because it's a great company. I love what I'm hearing. What about branding, man? So tell them a little bit about how you're getting your name out there. I want to help you out. Obviously, this podcast, I'm going to do my part to really help you out and help out your company and brand it through my audience. But what do you do to help yourself out?
So we had an amazing logo made for us. So that's our first step in branding, is we have the giant 16-foot box truck. So wherever that goes, people see us and call us because they see the truck. And then just getting the brand out there. We Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, just making posts, meeting people, going to stores, and then a lot of our branding, and people see our branding on Google when they do search and see our reviews, and then see us in the map pack, so we show up there. All right, cool.
Well, hey, we are almost out of time, Micah, so I want to maybe ask you one more question. I'm trying to figure out what should I ask him to close it out here. Maybe a fun question, man. Tell me a little bit, maybe tell me something, maybe a myth about junk removal that's maybe like a myth buster. People talk about, say, hey, something about.
I don't know if there's any myths. I don't know. Maybe we're not trash guys, like trash men. But I'd say the main myth is, it's not really a myth, just a misconception, is people think we can only take junk. So I've had many customers where I've gone to their house many times, and they'll see me post a video cutting up a hot tub, and they'll be like, oh, we had a hot tub. We don't know you did that. So the main thing is that, like, we can take anything that's not hazardous or liquid. So if it's on your property and you need it gone, we can take it pretty much.
All right, cool. Well, we want to make sure they give you a call. What's the easiest way to reach out?
Yeah, so you can call or text us at 480-787-JUNK. You can visit our website at happyhippojunk.com. And then we're also on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube if you search Happy Hippo Junk. Okay, easy. Love it. All right. Well, hey, thank you, Micah, man. Appreciate you being here, and thank you for sharing your expertise as well as your service. So truly appreciate it. Next week, we are going to tackle another big topic.
If you guys found this helpful, please make sure you guys reach out. Follow me on my YouTube channel, or as well as Instagram. You can follow me on the Closing Room AZ on Instagram, and check out some of these videos as well. Make sure you guys hit subscribe, like a video, add some comments, because that's the best way for us to get back to you and answer any questions you guys may have as well. So, but until then, thank you for hanging out with us today. It was a pleasure. Micah, thanks for being here today, man. Truly appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Till next time, guys, have a blessed day and set no limits.